With the number of companies that are offering AI digital voices to narrate audiobooks on the rise, what do we need to be worried about from a legal perspective? Could this potentially take away our copyright of our audiobooks? Let's talk to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer to find out more.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called the IP Professor that's dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, we're starting to see book distributors and different companies offer AI voiced narration of audiobooks, meaning an author can input their manuscript and they will get back a file with an AI voice reading their novel. What do we need to know in terms of protecting our copyright and the legal side of this?
Well, this is obviously a breakthrough development in the audiobook industry for a lot of reasons. And I think, I've said it before in previous videos, I think we can't ignore the innovation with what AI does present, but that doesn't necessarily correlate to the innovation necessarily having a seamless legal kind of like landscape, if you will. So obviously, the primary concern that I have with something like this is the copyrightability of that audiobook. Anyone who is in the author space knows that the manuscript you write, the finished product, all of that is essentially protected under copyright law. And there are measures that authors will typically do to protect the copyright of whatever they work on. Same with the publishing houses. They typically take the position of protecting a first edition, second edition, whatever other component of a book in the US Copyright Office with a full registration number. Why? Obviously, to go against any infringers that are very likely to be out there, kind of like sharks, swimming out there trying to catch the prey and infringe. And that would give the infringement would actually give the copyright owners cause to go after the infringers. Now, that said, audiobooks would fall in that bucket of assets that could be copyrightable. But we have that massive decision that came out now 2 weeks ago from the DC District Court about this exact point, about the copyrightability of works of authorship that are generated using artificial intelligence. Can they be protected under copyright law? And the DC District Court basically said that anything that uses generative AI technology is incapable of receiving copyright protection. The rationale is that it lacks human authorship, which now is going to be the next big question, which is what then qualifies as human authorship, or rather substantial human involvement, which is the more narrow question that came out of this case. And that's mainly because the Copyright Office has taken the position that something that has substantial human involvement will receive copyright protection, but we just don't know what that threshold is looking like. If it's 51%, 60%, 70%, even if it's less than 50%, we just don't have that answer. No one's given it. So I imagine that this could be a development that will come from appeals of this specific decision, this decision between the U.S. Copyright Office and Dr. Stephen Thaler. This could be something that comes out of the Copyright Office directly. This could come out of legislation, which who knows when that will happen. Or this could even come out of future case law in the future. But at this point in time, we just don't have that answer. So going back to this central question, when you use software that will provide you the voice and will narrate the book for you, the question is, are you willing to forfeit the copyright registration or the ownership of that audiobook? That's really the question that you need to be asking yourself, because at this point in time, the law recognizes that anything using generative AI or AI technology is incapable of receiving copyright protection. And arguably, you're not using an actual human author to narrate the voice or narrate the book for you. You're using software that has pre-programmed voices, pre-programmed ways of pronouncing certain words. You're just you're providing the input and the AI is providing the output. And that output is what's up in the air, essentially not going to get copyright protection. And so that's where I think things stand now. And if you're an author that wants to use this type of software, I would essentially say tread lightly, especially if you really do want to protect that audiobook as a work of authorship in the future.
And we know with some of these companies, this is going to be a free asset provided to authors, but it really boils down to, is it worth the risk at this time, because we don't have the legislation to know one way or the other. It may be wise to take a minute and really figure out those pros and cons and what could potentially be happening in the future for you as an author or a publisher when working with something that is created with AI. As always, with breaking news in the world of AI and publishing, we will be creating new videos with Tony here inside of the playlist linked in the videos in the description of this video, so that we can continue to educate you and help you on this. If you've got questions on AI narration or working with AI in the publishing industry, go ahead and drop those down below. And as always, we can reach out to Tony on his social medias. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor. You can check out my entertainment law podcast called End Scene. New episodes drop every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Follow along, because Tony is coming back for upcoming episodes to help break down the legal side of the publishing industry and of AI in the publishing industry. And make sure you check out our main channel, where we have a full playlist on AI and entrepreneurship that fully builds out what you need to know about using AI inside of your business. Drop your questions down below, and we'll see you in the upcoming episodes, plus the daily episodes we make to help you navigate the world of publishing to make this the most profitable year ever. From writing to publishing to marketing, we're here to get your questions answered and to make this as easy for you as possible.